little excited today because the energy this week has just been all that. I'm gonna get right into everything, but I'm so happy to be able to have the opportunity to really sit here and talk to y'all. We have another solo episode, which I'm happy about. The next couple of episodes will be some solo episodes. I am going to shoot for Kenya to come back, but also I'm gonna try to get my other friend to come because we have a conversation that needs to be talked about on Open Spaces, and what better place to have it talked about other than y'all favorite podcast. I didn't say it, y'all said it. Y'all said it. The way y'all been watching, the way y'all been eating it up, I've been appreciating it. But on my way here, I literally had realized I forgot my iPad, but nonetheless, I do have my phone. So if y'all see me, I don't know, because I am recording visuals. I may upload the whole visual. You never know. Like I may not. I don't know yet. But if I do, I will have my phone in my hand in case I need some references to some of the stuff that I need to look at, because I do have my computer out as well, but I don't be wanting to like lean forward sometimes, so I may look at everything from my actual phone. So introduction to the show. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here for a while and you wanted to come back, hey girl, hey. I'm super excited for all the new listeners. We have been posting more. We have been interacting more when it comes to getting new listeners onto the podcast. Just getting familiar, and I'm so happy for everybody that shares this podcast out to their friends, their mother, their brother, their sister, their cousin. Y'all know the routine. So yeah, I'm actually a little bit excited about this episode because it's about one of my favorite things, and mindset for me is like the key to success. Like you change your mindset, you change your life. Like point blank period. I got it tatted. It's just a rule I live by. When you start to change how you think, then your life will follow right after. So I'm super excited about that. And of course we have some new segments, which I feel like y'all like the new segments. I don't know, I gotta check my messages to see if we got some responses from the homework, and I'm going to go over my homework too right after I do my little recap. But I feel like y'all liked it, but I need some feedback as well, and make sure y'all leave a rating and review on the podcast, because I don't know if y'all really like it if y'all don't leave a rating and review, although it gives that y'all like it because y'all come back every week and I see them views and I see them listens and I see them follows. And make sure if you aren't following us, following the show, make sure that you follow the show. You can do it on Apple Podcasts, you can do it on Spotify, Amazon, Google, all of that. So if you aren't following the show, make sure you follow the show so that you can be notified on a regular basis of when we drop. And of course we drop every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are trying to listen to the episode as soon as we drop, then but of course follow the show. So quick recap. Honestly, there's probably been like maybe an episode in between this episode, but everything's been good. I know that the last episode I talked about how I wanted to be more rooted in my integrity and be more how can I put it, just true to myself, like standing on what I said, believing what I say I'm going to do and actually doing it. And might I say, chef's kiss. Like I've been showing up even in times where I feel like I don't want to, or I don't feel like it, or it's like, oh, I'm not in the mood. I've been pushing myself to get up and do the things that I said I was going to do because I said I was going to do it. So if you feel like you've been lacking some integrity, you feel like you are trying to really get better with staying consistent, being disciplined, all of the things, and having the intentionality like we talked about in the episode, then I need you to start making commitments. And it could be really small commitments, but start following through. Like even if it's, well, I'm gonna go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight. When 9 o'clock roll around, you need to be in that bed. If you say you're gonna get up early and read a book, get up, set your alarm, don't hit the snooze button as much as you want to. You have to change the way that you know you're operating. And we're gonna talk more about dang, I just realized midway thought like I forgot something because I wanted to reference it, but hopefully I can remember it a little bit. Matter of fact, I have it in my journal, so I should be able to remember it. But I just took myself completely off of track, but whatever. Yeah, if you are trying to really be more intentional, be more disciplined, and really have that piece of integrity in your life, just make small commitments to yourself. You can do it for the remainder of the week. You can do it up until the next time you hear my voice again. But start making small adjustments and commitments that you actually want to achieve for your life so that you can see how great it feels when you start to show up for yourself. Because I don't know about y'all, if y'all do it, if y'all don't do it, but when you start doing it, you're going to start to realize like, oh, I really mean it. Oh, I'm really doing what I said I was going to do, and it feels good. So that's what's been going on with me. Me and my kid has been cool. It ain't been no beef. He been mad because I be messing with him when it's time to wake up in the morning. But it's like, boy, you sit here and act like you work 15 hours a day and you stressed and you got to get up every morning to go to school. Like, boy, bye. So everything's cool, can't complain. I have been in like, not in a bad mood, but I've been in a mood of it's time to go hard. Like I had my little playtime. I had my relaxing and, being able to adjust from the last transition. And now I'm kind of like, not necessarily hustle and bustle, but like I picked up more hours at my part-time job. I kind of told them like, listen, boo, y'all want me as an employee, y'all need to pay me. And y'all need to pay me because y'all need to give me hours. So I'm literally, what's today? Wednesday I'm recording. So I literally work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They put me on a schedule for Sunday, but I don't know. They might have to take that back. I don't know yet. I don't know yet, but just trying to really put the pedal to the metal and really just going. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be restless, that I'm going to be tired, but it's a certain type of grind that I'm going for within the next 2 to 3 months. So, because there's some goals that I want to accomplish, and I'll be able to let y'all know how everything go. But as long as it's in God's will and in alignment with what He sees for me, it's something that I feel like is shifting and it's about to happen for me. So I'm claiming it. I'm receiving it right here on the pod. And when I tell y'all so, I'm gonna just be like, I told y'all so. Okay? So I'm feeling good about life. Feeling very determined, showing up for myself, for y'all, and just overall happy. So let's get into the first segment. We are going to touch on align and reflect. So making sure that the things that we say that we want are in alignment with what we said we wanted. So we're just going to do some self-reflection. So I'm going to ask 2 questions. I'm going to try, maybe I'll try to change up the questions every week. I'll see. Or maybe I'll bounce in between the 4 questions that I have right now. So this one for this week is, what needs my attention? So this is kind of like a question that you can ask yourself if you feel like you've been doing so much, right? We have so many roles and we do so many things, and sometimes you don't realize it until it's a little too late, but sometimes you may catch it in the midst and you may feel like, something's not getting my attention, or something, God forbid, something happens, right? And you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about it, or, oh, I fell behind on this. So it's kind of in a sense of what needs my attention? What do I need to kind of pull back in, like reel back in? And for me personally, of course, y'all know y'all can answer all these questions that I'm going to ask throughout the duration of this podcast, but I'm also going to share the insight for me. And I didn't forget about the homework. I will touch on the homework after this segment before we get into the actual topic. So for me personally, what needs my attention and what I realized actually this morning, and it's not that something necessarily happened, but I was doing my morning routine and I got up, I woke my son up, then I went, brushed my teeth, start washing my face, and I started to realize, you're not really heavy in your evening self-time routine, because I'm having to do a little bit more in the morning. And this is my exact thought as I am doing my morning routine. And I had realized that these last couple of days I've been on some just rushing, and to know me is to know I used to operate, because we're not claiming that, I used to operate in chaos. I used to wake up every morning, have to rush to go to work, get my son ready, take him to school, and then not have the opportunity to go back home. But if I didn't get what I need to get done for myself and have that time to myself before I left home, it wasn't really gonna happen. If I'm gonna be for real, it just wasn't going to happen. because I had to go to work. And when I got to work, I had to worry about work and then be at work for 8 hours and then come home and feel depleted and be like, I need a break. I'm going to lay down, go to sleep, or binge watch TV or scroll, right? We know the life. We know the life. But I made a commitment to myself after I left that job, and I told myself that I was going to start to really pour into myself a little bit more. I told myself I was going to slow down. I told myself that I was going to have a morning routine. I told myself I was going to have a nighttime routine. And I even told myself, like, there just has to be certain things that take place in my life because of who I'm trying to be. So I did it. And one thing I will say, by this morning when I went to go I realized that I lost not only my morning routine, and when I say morning routine, evening routine, like actually specific things that I'm doing, not just obviously cleanliness, but everything that's in the nighttime routine and everything that's in the morning. So I start to realize as I was brushing my teeth, I was like, oh dang, I ain't really do my nighttime routine like within the last 2 nights. And that's not necessarily the working part, but the going to the bathroom and doing the full-blown facial cleanse, right? And doing the moisturizers and the this and the this and that product, right? So I was like, okay, I got to make sure that I pour into me tonight and continue to do that. And as much as, you know, I may just not want to get out the bed and just be like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it in the morning. I have to make sure that I am sticking to my routine, because one thing I've learned about routines, they're systems. And when you have systems in place, your life kind of seems boring, but realistically, you're on a routine that feels good. You're in a system that feels good, and you ultimately have the same type of results. So obviously, if you are living in a specific routine in the morning, you're doing your routine throughout the day, and then you're doing your routine at night, it's like, okay, this feels good. I'm happy. I feel like this. I feel like that. So imagine when it's a routine that you don't like, what do you get? You get the misery, right? You get the negativity. You get all the things that you're not really fond of. So it's like, why not have a good routine to have a good life? So I kind of had to reel myself back in and say, you know what? Even when it comes to my morning routine, obviously not the cleanliness because I don't play them games, but I had realized I started reading my Bible every morning. I was doing a chapter a day in the morning and then a chapter a day at night. I got to get back to that, right? So that's something that needed my attention to realize that I wasn't in alignment with the things that I said I was going to do. Taking that time out for myself, moving slow, not getting up and just rushing out the bed, like basically waking up on my last alarm. I actually want to get in the habit of not needing an alarm, but I also need to start committing to my sleep schedule a little bit more, because I've been wilding, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been going to sleep like 2, 3 a.m. this last couple of weeks. And it's not that I can't do it, because that's the very reason why I stay up, because I can, and I create my own schedule until I, have to abide by somebody else's. But I'm realizing that I'm throwing myself off. I'm throwing my circadian rhythm off, like, and I have to bring it back, right? As much as I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm in bed by 9 o'clock and I'm asleep by 10. I don't really want it like that. But if that's something that I need to instill so that I can become the best version of myself, then that's what I'm gonna have to do. So that's what needs my attention right now. So ask yourself, like, what is it that needs your attention in this very moment? It may be your kids, it may be your business, it may be a hobby, it may be just some simple rest, right? What needs your attention right now that is going to help you get closer to the version of yourself you are trying to be? Remember, we're staying in alignment, right? We're reflecting on the things that we are doing day to day, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year, because we want to be able to reach what it is that we sought out to reach. Second question for Align and Reflect is, what's one thing I can release? For me, what's one thing can I release? I will say, and I never really had this as an issue, but I will say that within the last week, it was something that kind of like tugged at me a little bit. But I am going to release the need for people to like me. And I know that sounds funny, and it may sound a little off, but within the last week, I definitely had a moment of going down a rabbit hole feeling like, oh, well, what if this person thinks about me this way? Oh, well, what if, that just made me look crazy? To know me is to know I really don't care. But it was a specific situation that happened that made me feel like, now people looking at me weird. But I had to remember who I was. I had to remember the only validation I need, and I hate to say it like this because I don't want nobody to feel like, oh, she need to be quiet. This is my platform, okay? This is my podcast. So if you don't like it, you can go. But I don't really need nobody to like me. I don't need nobody to kick it with. I don't need nobody to, right? I'm in love with myself enough and I enjoy my company enough to be okay with what I got going on. But the reality of it is, obviously, yes, we need relationships, we need connection, we need all those things throughout life. So I'm not saying that, oh, I can be lonely for the rest of my life, and which I'm not. I'm full of love, full of life and connection and energy all the time. But what I'm saying is that statement alone isn't saying, oh, I don't need anybody. But the reality of it is, if it's people who do not like me or feel a certain type of way about me, then that's okay. That's their perception of me. That's the way that they see me. But I don't have to feed into the way that they see me. I can feed into how I feel about myself. And I feel like a lot of us do that as human nature, as us as human beings. That's what we do. We kind of perceive ourselves based upon what somebody else perceives us as. And that's weird. Again, it's learned behavior, something that we need to unlearn. But I had to kind of like snap myself back into reality of, if a person doesn't like me, or if a person feels a certain type of way or have a specific narrative about me, you know what, let them have it, because I'm not in the business of convincing anybody at all. So that's the one thing I'm going to release this week. And yeah, I feel good about it too. So before I get into the topic, like I normally do, I am going to reflect back on the inner work homework that we did, not last week, but 2 weeks ago. The questions was to choose one boundary to honor this week, or answer what are you avoiding emotionally. So I went with choosing one boundary to honor that week that we put the question out there. And for me, hold on y'all, because my throat dry, because I'm going in and I ain't even getting to the topic yet. I'm sorry if y'all heard me swallow that water, because this mic is probably super close. But your girl was thirsty. So the boundary that I chose to honor that week was to really kind of like elaborate and going back on the thing that I said I was trying to stay in alignment with, was really just honoring having that integrity, doing what I said I was going to do, show up the way I said I was going to show up, and just continuously do it, no matter if I felt tired, no matter if I didn't really want to go to the gym, no matter if, other people had plans and wanted to include me in it. Like, I stood on that boundary, I honored that boundary, and it was more of a boundary for myself than it was for anybody else. So I am happy of it. I'm proud of it. I hope that y'all did that homework. And if you didn't, obviously you can answer the question now. You don't have to answer both. Choose one boundary to honor this week, or what are you avoiding emotionally? And I say to honestly write that as like a journal prompt, and then go into actually answering it. Now, if it's a 2-sentence answer, then it's a 2-sentence answer. If you end up writing way more, let it flow. I tell people all the time, when it comes to answering journal prompts and just continue to write, one of the best things, rather than sometimes, you can just have a feeling, whether it's sadness, whether it's happiness, whether it's envy, whether it's whatever, right? And then you start to journal. You're like, oh, I want to journal my thoughts. And next thing you know, you wrote all this negative stuff down on the paper. And one thing that I'm a firm believer in, I don't like writing negative things down on paper, because they make them super real. It's already real when it's in your mind. But to write it down, you're kind of like just feeding that energy. You're going into it more. And don't let it be a rabbit hole of 2 long pages of the situation that made you angry or the thing that made you sad, because now you're crying. It's like the the thing that people do when they sad, they have a breakup and they go listen to sad songs. I used to be that girl. I am not doing that anymore. I am trying to snap myself back into being positive, being happy, being joyful, being who I truly am. Ever to be sad and to put myself into more sorrow and listen to sad heartbreak songs. That's crazy, but we do it. And that's kind of like equivalent to me to journaling negative thoughts or negative things that are happening. So I love journal prompts. I love being able to either provide somebody a question or ask a question, and then allow people to journal. I do the same thing with my coaching sessions as well. Like, I would rather you actually get asked the question and you respond. Same thing how it is in therapy. So do that in the homework if you didn't do it. If you did do it 2 weeks ago, I would like to see some responses. As a matter of fact, let me check. Hold on. Because I got something for y'all. If y'all are not following the podcast page, it is Open Spaces with Siera Vernice. Same name as the podcast. That's the Instagram. Send me a DM. So I'm looking now. I don't have any DMs. I was about to do something to sidetrack myself, but you know what? I'm not going to do it because I'm recording a podcast and I'm going to get off track. But no, I don't have any. I'm looking at now. I don't have any DMs on this page. If you are not following the podcast page, follow it because you'll be able to see the visuals that are put up throughout the duration of when I'm recording. Because if you've been listening to audio, whether you're new, whether you've been here for some years or some months, you probably don't know what I look like other than the cover photo to the podcast. So come see my beautiful face. I promise I won't bite. You listen enough, match the face to the voice. I'm just saying. And obviously I share other advice and other things throughout my personal page and the actual podcast page. So let's get some followers up on the podcast because I want to meet y'all. I want to see y'all. I want to know how y'all feeling. So yeah, send those DMs, follow me, Open Spaces with Siera Vernice. And then if you want to follow my personal page, it is just Siera Vernice _ on Instagram and Siera Vernice on all the other platforms. So let's get into the topic, because are y'all ready? I'm excited about this topic. I'm not going to lie. Well, let me get off Instagram. I just seen Meg, she did her Broadway debut. I don't even know what it was for, but I know she loved it, and I know she tore it up. I love her. To know me is to know I am a Meg girly. All right, y'all, let's get into the topic. The topic is retraining your brain, really overpowering your thought process, the way that you think. Because like I said, the way that you think is really the way that your life will be. If you think that your life is miserable, negative, evil, sad, if you feel like everything bad happens to you, if you feel like nobody loves you, nobody likes you, you're never going to be able to catch a break, you're never going to be good at this, you're never going to be able to achieve this. If you think all those negative things, guess what's going to happen, boo? Your life will be the direct reflection of how you think. And I don't know if people don't believe this, but we're going to get into it right now. I had to get some more water, y'all, because my throat. And to think I have to record another episode, and then I also have to record some short form videos for my social media platforms. When I tell you, one of the things that I started to master when it came to retraining my brain was to really start to realize those anxious thoughts, those avoidant thoughts, those just the thoughts that came into my mind. And I'm actually going to do some research. This is why I needed my phone. And I think this was talked about in probably multiple episodes at this point, because y'all know I focus on mindset often. So I just looked up how many thoughts do we have per minute. So to think, as a human being, we have 48.6 thoughts per minute. So even me being able to record this for up to 25 minutes as of right now, Y'all don't think I've had thoughts popped up in my head within those 25 minutes? I have. And that's why sometimes I be derailing and going off on tangents, because I can't stop my brain from having thoughts. You can't stop your brain from having thoughts. We have about 70,000 thoughts per day. And I don't even necessarily know. I have to do some research. Because I feel like you technically do think when you're asleep, but at the same time, some people may think, oh, you don't have thoughts when you're asleep. But I think you do. You just aren't aware of it. But quote unquote, the way that I feel, that's the dream. That's the dream. But hey, who am I? I'll do the research and I'll get back to y'all. And then I'm actually about to look this up because this just popped up. So considering the fact that we have about 70,000 thoughts per day, on average, 45,000 of those thoughts are negative. That's crazy. I'm going to go back so I don't get sidetracked. I just wanted to see it because it had popped up afterwards. So think about it. If we have 70,000 thoughts per day, and what did it say? 40? What did it say? Golly, see? 45,000. Okay. I had to think about it. 45,000 of them are typically negative. That's an average person. If we were able to start taking control of our brain, of our mind, of all the things that are happening inside of us, would your life be better? Would you even take the initiative to control it? For me, I had to realize I'm an avoidant at heart. I'm learning to be a little bit better because I've learned over the years that I've become avoidant over time. I've become anxious, and some may say that I'm very anxious, avoidant, disorganized thinking, attachment, all of the things, right? Listen, I'm a Libra and a Scorpio. I'm on the cusp. I ain't saying I'm crazy, but I ain't all the way there. And the trauma alone hasn't helped. So I know from as early as maybe 12, that's probably what I can remember. Very avoidant, very to myself. Grew up in a family, nice regular size, and then it starts to expand because life, family, things happen, but babies pop up and drama. So over time, I become more avoidant. Even to this day, I can say that I still have some avoidant tendencies, but I've been learning and I've been healing and I've been growing, understanding that just because of the trauma that I've endured, the experiences that I had growing up, from that time frame, what's that? From 12 to almost 30, sometimes, okay? 15 plus years of just being avoidant. You don't get to be not avoidant after saying, I'm not going to be avoidant. You're still going to have tendencies. And even if you are more on the anxious side, it's not going to stop right away. That's the reality of it. But once I start to realize the type of person that I was or that I have become, I start to think, I got to change this up. We kind of get told what to do as a kid. Well, not kind of, we do, right? As a kid, you don't have no say-so. Your parents tell you what to do. Your parents, family members, and your grandma, everybody tells you what to do. You are not in control of your life at all as a kid. And depending on the type of family you were brought up in, you may still not even have no control over your life at your very big age. I've seen it. It happens. But when you get older, you have to ultimately decide that you want to be able to change who you are. You're kind of used to the version of yourself that you are, but you have that tuggish feeling. And I talk about this, I refer to this all the time. You have this feeling of wanting to be different, of wanting to be more, but it don't always happen that way. So it's kind of like, what's going on, right? How can I get there? And I've learned over time, studying, reading, and just really realizing that without the parents, without the spouse, without whoever it is that influenced you, the teachers growing up and shaping who you are today. Without all those people, this is my life. Like, and I think I start to realize it because when it came into growing up and not having to listen to my mom anymore, having my own kid, not being in school, and then having like relationships, I started to realize like I got to lay down with me every day. I keep living in my body. Why is it that I'm doing what everybody else wants me to do? I need to start changing who I am, thinking differently, not putting everybody else's perception of what they want me to be or what they think I should do and think I should be. And I need to start retraining who I am. I need to start switching up. And if you know me, if you follow me, you've probably heard it if you listen to the podcast long enough. I will change who I am every single day. I can wake up and be another person tomorrow. I can decide to be an evil villain in the next 10 minutes of this podcast. You never know. But one thing you will not do is have the control over my mind or my body. I've done it for years. I've subjected myself to being everybody else's puppet, right? That people pleasing aspect. But I had to realize it's time for me to start thinking for me. It's time for me to start doing the things that I need myself to do, to experience, to really live. So that was my first part of really retraining my brain. So then once I start to sit with myself, because this is one thing you are going to have to do. You're going to have to sit with yourself to start retraining your brain. You're going to have to get quiet. You're going to have to be alone, not lonely. You're going to have to be alone. Taking time from not being on the phone all the time, taking time for being in relationships all the time, taking the time to not hang out with your friends all the time, not party every weekend, not indulge in substance, right? You have to really take time to sit in silence, like have a moment of it. I say start off 5 minutes. If you've never sat in silence before, if you're always surrounded around family, around friends, around work, because there are some people who, I used to be the same way, who used to submerge themselves into being busy all the time because I didn't want to sit with myself. I didn't want to sit with my thoughts. I didn't want to actually start to realize who I was. So I would always be around friends. You ask me what anybody around me would be able to tell you, I was outside. What they say, we outside. I was outside, baby. I always wanted to be outside as a teenager. Even when it came to being with my son's father, always wanted to be up his butt, always wanted to do whatever he wanted to do, always was there by his side. Not realizing I was just running away from figuring out who I am. Figuring out, and a lot of the times, I don't even necessarily think it was always running away. I could say with my friends, it definitely was. Because even it got to like maybe 3-4 years ago, I was like, well, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, because we're in 2026 now. I started to realize like, I don't really want to be here. That's probably when I really started doing the inner work. I was like, I don't really want to be here, but I'm here because I'm showing up for my friend. But at the same time, what am I running from? So it wasn't always that I was running, because sometimes I just wanted to sit. And it's about to sound crazy, but we're going to be for real. If we're going to do anything, we're going to be transparent and we're going to be real. I would be just waiting for the person that I'm around, whether it was my son's father, whether it was my previous relationship, whether it was my mom, whether it was my friend. I was sitting waiting to get told what to do. I was sitting waiting to be a service to somebody. I was sitting there waiting for an assignment because I always felt like my assignment for life was to make sure other people felt good. And although I still feel like it is very valid, but the way and the capacity that I was doing it in was not correct. Because it's one thing to be able to serve, right, as your purpose, and to pour into people and to be there to make people feel good. But it's another thing if it's at the cost of your own life. If you are depleted, if you feel like you don't have an identity, if you feel like you really not super happy about doing this, you're not serving, you're not living in your purpose, something ain't right. And I can say for me, I was always uneasy about serving other people and showing up and being there and doing all the things. I was going to do it, but subconsciously I knew, what do Siera want? what does Siera life look like? It always, you could probably honestly see that within me from years of listening to the podcast. And if you haven't been around for years, but if you've listened to beginning episodes, you'll hear me say a couple of times like, oh, I found my purpose. My purpose is to serve other people, make other people feel good. But what makes Siera happy? To make other people feel good. Like, huh? No. Even if you think about the people who say, oh, what's your name? What do you do? Or what's your name? Tell me about yourself. It's always, oh, my name is Siera. I'm a life coach and I'm a da-da-da. You talk about all the things that you do, all the parts of you that you are, but you don't talk about who you genuinely are. I make a joke, but I be dead serious when I'm around my sister and say we come in contact with people that know us as sisters, and they'll say, oh, you such and such sister. And I'll be like, no, I'm Siera. Hi, nice to meet you. Yes, that is my sister, but I'm Siera. So it's something that I've learned over time that I have to try to start strengthening a little bit more when it comes to my mind, because before, I tell you, buried brain. And not to say like I thought about materialistic stuff and I didn't have no thoughts and I didn't, like I was dumb, but I knew my power, but I dimmed it down a lot. And I know that could be a lot of people's testimony. I was waiting to make people feel good the way that I should have been making myself feel good. So that's one part of retraining my brain that I had learned. Another part was really quieting those anxious thoughts. Whew. And I know we all have them. And mine used to be chaotic. Mine used to be the wild stuff. And 9 times out of 10, that anxiety that we have and the rush and the negative thoughts, all of those are things that are 99.9% never going to happen. We're doing the overthinking. We're overwhelmed. We're making up scenarios in our head. We're thinking about, well, this could possibly happen and that could possibly happen. When reality, we're not in reality. We're not thinking about what's actually happening, right? We're not looking at what's actually happening. So for me, that was a big one. I want to say that was the very first thing I started working with. So I started working on in therapy. I feel like I can't talk. Yes, my first therapist that I had, I told her like it was certain aspects of myself that I didn't like, that I wanted to change, but the thought process of the negative thoughts, I don't even think I was necessarily having bad dreams at the moment, but it was very much thoughts. Like I could be sitting in traffic and just have a random thought that something bad was going to happen. I would think myself into some type of, kind of like a whirlwind of negative thoughts that, oh, I was never going to amount to nothing. I was never going to be able to do nothing. I was never going to be able to succeed. And I will say a lot of those thoughts were based upon obviously trauma, upbringing, but also seeing that the life that I lived in the current moment reflected it. But again, like I said in the beginning, what you think is what you believe. What you believe is what is going to come into fruition. So that's why you really have to change how you think. You have to change the thoughts that you have. And again, they're going to come, 70,000 of them a day. But what you can learn how to do is when that negative thought comes up, rewire your brain, retrain your brain, reroute whatever negative thought there was. I talked about this before and I'm not going to go too much into it right now, but look up cognitive distortions. I probably will do an episode about it because there's a long list of them. There is a long list of them. But my second therapist, which is my current therapist, she taught me about those. And when she sent me the sheet of the cognitive distortions, I was like, oh my gosh, I have all of them. And if you don't know, cognitive distortions are basically what the name says, distortions of your cognitive. Your cognitive is the way that you think, your brain, right? The thoughts that pop up, the 70,000 thoughts that pop up. So distortions, obviously, distorted mind, distorted behavior, not technically correct. Let me actually find the definition of distortion so I won't quote y'all wrong. Yeah, so it pretty much what I just said, the action of distorting or the state of being distorted. So like twisted, right? Your twisted thought process. I think I actually still have some. Let me see. Because I don't usually have my phone. I usually be recording with my phone. But that's why your girl invested into this camera. And then I'm going to go into how we can retrain our mind after this. Because we're going to go into the last couple of segments. Come on. I know I have this saved on my phone. Okay, here we go. I know I had it. So there is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. I'm not going to go through all 12. I'm going to just pick some out so that y'all can see. My bad, y'all. I had to get something off my face so that y'all can see how you could possibly fit in some or many of these categories. So I'll read what it says at the top. It basically just says cognitive distortions are irrational thoughts that shape how you see the world, how you feel, and how you act. It's normal to have these thoughts occasionally, but they can be harmful when frequent or extreme. So when they become frequent and extreme, that's usually when you are like diagnosed with anxiety or depression and all the other psychological disorders. But again, still able to cope with these distortions. There's ways around it, and that's why I'm a fan of CBT therapy, which is cognitive behavior therapy. That will be the type of therapy that I will be practicing with my clients once I am finished school, license, and all of that. Talk therapy is very similar. Obviously, you're talking through CBT work. It's just a certain type of therapy, talk therapy, but you can get through it even if you have the depression, have the anxiety. You can get through these distortions because, again, they're just irrational thoughts, and thoughts are going to come whether you like it or not. But it's about if you're going to change your thought process, if you're going to, take back the power of your thoughts instead of letting all the distortions and all the trauma and all the perceptions of other people take over. So one of them I'm going to read is catastrophizing. This is one that I know for a fact was my heavy anxious thought process. Catastrophizing is seeing only the worst possible outcome of a situation. Again, I used to sit and think like something could be happening and I could feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen to me. Oh my gosh, this is going to happen. And going down a hole, like if you ever go down those rabbit holes of something's bad going to happen, or, oh, it's going to be the worst possible outcome. Nothing's good going to come from whatever the situation is. That's catastrophizing. And you're going to hear these and you're going to be like, oh my God, I took this on the regular. But once you're aware, you already know my rule. It's time to change it. Okay, which one do I want to read? Jump into conclusions. Interpreting the meaning of a situation with little to no evidence. How many of us jump to a conclusion? Let's be for real. All of us. We all jump to conclusion. That man ain't answer his phone. You start catastrophizing, right? And a lot of these will be combined in a lot of situations that you are in. You start catastrophizing because that man ain't answer his phone. And now you're jumping to conclusion with no evidence whatsoever that he's doing something he had no business doing. Listen, I'm just reading off the list. I ain't make this up. I did not make this up. This was provided by therapistaid.com. If you would like to read it yourself. Another one. Emotional reason. So this is the assumption that emotions reflect the way things really are. I feel like a bad friend, therefore I am a bad friend. I feel like I did a terrible job, therefore I'm going to lose my job. How many of us do it? We do it. But once you're aware of these things and the things that you think of and that pop up in your mind and you go down those loopholes of those irrational thoughts, that's when you stop, right? That's one way you can retrain your brain. Stop in the moment that you're having a negative thought. Stop in the moment that you're having a cognitive distortion and tell yourself something better, something positive, something different. So I'll do one for the next example. So should statements. I see this a lot. I sometimes do it myself. I am getting a little bit better. A little bit better. Should statements are exactly what they say. The belief that things should be a certain way. I should always be perfect. I should always get good grades. I should always be there for the people that are there for me. Let's change that last one. So if I have the negative thought of a should statement pop up, I should always be there for the people that are there for me. Reframing it, right? Retraining my brain. I'm going to say, instead of I should always be there for the people who show up for me, I would say I am doing the best I can to show up for other people who show up for me. But sometimes I may not be able to have the capacity to show up for them in the measures that they need me to. That's a little bit more lengthier, but you said it out loud. Now it's not that I'm gonna stop thinking about it and it's gonna disappear. It's gonna pop back up again. But here's what you do. You keep telling yourself whatever it is that feels right, whatever it is that feels good in that moment, to reframe that statement, right? To reframe that cognitive distortion. I'll do one more. This is a good one. I'm gonna do two more. This one I have a good example for, though. All or nothing thinking. So this is a cognitive distortion. Thinking in absolutes such as always, never, or every. The example is, I never do a good job. I never do a good enough job on anything. That pops up in my head. I never do a good enough job on anything. Hey, that's not true. Let's reframe that. The way that I would reframe that is, I may not have done my best job in this area of work today, but what I can do is when I have to do the assignment again or come back tomorrow or whatever, I'll try my best to do better. Just like that. And again, it's not magic. It's not going to stop. The thoughts are not going to stop coming, and it's not going to be fixed permanently. You're still going to have to retrain those thoughts, because again, those 47 thoughts per minute and those 70,000 thoughts per day are going to come, good or bad, but it's about how you respond to them. It's about how you change them. So let's get into some other ways we can change them. So obviously the first one, we talked about reframing those cognitive distortions, reframing those thought processes, right? I am going to read you something I'm actually going to, what's that? That's principle 2. I'm pulling out my notebook. I'm reading the book right now. I have to look it up too, because I don't know who's the author. But I'm reading a book right now that my sister gifted me for Valentine's Day. And it's called The Power to Change. I'll find the author in a second, because I want to be able to move on to the next segment. Because this is, when I tell you I could talk for hours about this. So basically, The Power to Change talks about, it adds a lot of biblical references as well, which I love. When she bought that book, she knew exactly what she was doing. But it also teaches you how to retrain your mind, how to think better, not just be better. So if you want to change your life, you have to change your mindset. My own slogan, right? But he pretty much says in the book that there's different types of principles that he lists. And his principles are in reference to Bible scriptures, but he also talks about different exercises that you need to do in changing. So principle 1, I'm not going to go through all the activities because I'm not going to spoil the book. I say get it if you want to get into it. I really want to start a book club, I'm not going to lie, but I'll get into that at some point in life, because listen, I'm being consistent with y'all right now. So if you are interested in the book club, let me know. Again, follow us on the podcast so that we can stay in touch and we can communicate. So far I'm only, I think, on the 4th chapter, but the first principle he says is to experience change that lasts, emphasis on that last. You need to focus on who, not do. And it was something that really struck me when I read that, because I was like, who, not do. Focus on who, not do. If you really want to change your life, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you don't need to focus on what it is that you need to do. Obviously, you have to do things. You have to think about the things that you have to do. But in order to really change and have a change that lasts, not the change that you said you was going to go to the gym and then you start going for a week and then you fell off and then you never turned back. The change that lasts, you need to focus on you being a person who goes to the gym. Change the who, not the do. It's not about the habit that you're doing. It's not about the things that you are doing. It's about who you are, who you have to become in order to be the version that you want to be. So when it comes to retraining your brain, don't focus on doing different things, right? Of course, we want to focus on the thought process and changing our way of thinking, reframing. But I want you to focus on who you want to be, the version of yourself that you want to be. Who is it? Is she a person who sits in sorrow? Is she a person who is anxious, right? Just like I say all the time, I'm a former procrastinator. I'm not claiming that I'm a procrastinator because I'm a former procrastinator. That's not who I am. The new version of me, the new me, I'm not a procrastinator, so I won't claim it. Reframe. And also focus on who, not do. And then the second principle, which did I do? Was that the one I did today? Yes. Okay. So the second principle is, where did I write it at? Okay. So the second principle is you do what you do because of what you think of you. And this was the one that honestly and truly, I wrote Retraining Your Mind. That's a topic probably a month ago. But when I read this part today, I was like, this is perfect. I am bringing this up in the podcast episode. I'll read it again. He basically says, you do what you do because of what you think of you. So the way that you are, the way that you act, the way that you engage with other people, the way that you engage with yourself, all those things that you do are simply because of the way that you think about yourself. So if you self-sabotage, if you manipulate yourself, if you manipulate other people, if you are a nasty person, if you are fearful, it's because of what you think about yourself, what you think you deserve, what you think will happen, what you think will not happen, right? Who you truthfully are, that's what you think. So it's important for us to start changing our thought process, changing who we are, so that we can become the best version of ourselves. When we constantly stay in the frame of mind of who we used to be or who we currently are, and also when it comes to thinking of, oh, we deserve that, and thinking of this is who I am, we're only damaging ourselves more and more. So if you know you have that tug and pull type of situation where you know you need more, where you know you thrive for more, you strive for more, you want better, you have to be the one to decide to shift your identity. You have to be the one to decide to start reframing those thoughts. Start rewiring your brain. And here's the thing that I'm going to say, and I'm going to close it out with this. Your brain is meant to protect you through and through. That's its sole purpose. Obviously, you have different functions, but the main thing is to make sure that you are safe at all times. But here's the thing that people don't know about the brain. Sometimes when it is trying to make sure that you are safe and protect you, it is harming you. It is doing you more harm. Because the way that you've been brought up, the way that your cognitive has developed over time, when you start to do things out of the ordinary that are, a little bit different from your norm. So even if say for instance, you're a self-sabotager, right? That's something that your brain has taught you how to do so that you can stop getting hurt. You're going to sabotage every situation when it comes to your dating life, and it's just to protect you. That's what your brain is telling yourself. Hey, sending signals to you to let you know, stop it. You're getting delusional. Back away, become avoidant. Yeah, I'm talking about me a little bit, but I can walk y'all through this because I've been through it. But if you're a person who has been in the same similar type of situation, listen, your brain sends the signal that, hey, you're unsafe. I need you to come back. I need you to do this. And then you start to self-sabotage, right? Then you start to think negative thoughts about how that person isn't right for you, or that person isn't doing this for you, or this person is a little just too clingy, and that's a little too unfamiliar for you. So your brain tells you to run. And what you do, you run. And now you have self-sabotaged yourself. Although your brain is here to protect you and to keep you safe, a lot of time, your brain is preventing you from being the best version of yourself. It's causing you way more harm than it is keeping you safe. And sometimes I'll be mad. Like, brain, why are you doing that? Right? Why are you doing that? Why are you messing with me? But it's only trying to protect you from the unknown. It's only trying to keep you from the things that are completely foreign. And we all know change is foreign. Change is uncomfortable. But you have to be willing to lean in that uncomfortability so that you can see a new version of yourself, so that you can experience new different things. If you are a person that's like, oh, I want to experience this, I want to do this, I want to do that, but you're so scared to go outside by yourself, you're so scared to go to the gym by yourself, you're so scared of what other people are going to think of you, you have to learn how to retrain your mind to think that you are, for one, doing this for yourself, and you are shifting who you are, so you have to do things differently. I say it all the time. If you want different results, you have to do things differently. I'm going to swear by it. I'm going to say it every time because it's a true fact. If you want to change your life, you have to retrain your brain. Y'all, that's all I got to say about that topic, because, again, I could talk for hours about mindset, retraining your brain, all of the things, okay? So we're going to get into the next segment. But before I get into it, I want to make sure that y'all are tuned in, locked in, because guess what your girl got? Your girl has created a physical journal. It is an alignment workbook that is going to allow you to take steps to stay in alignment with the life and the version of yourself that you have been trying to be. I've created it page by page, literally following the framework that I have created, the same framework that I go through with friends, the same framework I go through with clients, and the same framework that I have done with my own very life. It has been the framework that I've been using, a whole lot of it subconsciously, but now that I am aware of it, it is the framework that I continue to push in my life, to change my life, to become the best version of myself, to become the ultimate version of myself. And it's the same framework that I use for my clients as well. So if you aren't ready to do one-on-one coaching and you're just like, you know what, I am actually okay with just grabbing a journal and doing it myself, click the link in the show notes. Or if you have access to my TikTok, which y'all do, because it's in the show notes. It is linked to my TikTok shop. It is called the Alignment Workbook, the Self-Discovery, the Self-Improvement, everything. When I tell you, we have habit trackers, we have journal prompts, we have affirmations, we have weekly goals, monthly goals. We're dreaming big, we're reflecting, we're making sure that we are staying in alignment with the things that we say we are going to do. So if you are ready to change your life, if you are ready to stay in alignment with what it is that God has for you, go ahead and click that link and go get it. Okay, so the second segment, I'm going to switch this segment up because I was like, I'm testing things out, still testing things out. And I think I may do the testing for a couple of more episodes. I'm going to see until I really feel like, you know what, I like this one. I'm going to keep it. I think Align and Reflect is always going to stay, just because we had a separate episode for Align and Reflect, and I've always liked it because it's kind of like a check-in. Like, am I good? Am I not? Is it something I need to work on? What is it? Right? I always like to self-reflect. That's one thing I'm big on, self-reflection, because I got to make sure that I'm doing what I said I was going to do and meaning everything that I said I was going to do. So, okay. Y'all, I can't believe I sat here and talked to y'all all by myself for 58 minutes and to think I have to record another one. Second segment. So this one is named Dear Aligned Me. And what it is it's an affirmation that you speak to your future self. Now, you don't have to necessarily follow mine. I'm, of course, going to share my affirmation that I would like to speak to my future self. So for me, I'm gonna say it. Dear Aligned Me. And you can even say Dear Aligned, insert your name. I could say Dear Aligned Siera. I like Dear Aligned Me, so I'm gonna go Dear Aligned Me. I am so proud of you. You've worked very hard. You've done the things that you said you were going to do. You showed up not only for you, but for your people. I am super proud of you. I love you. And even if you feel like you're not where you want to be, I promise you are not where you used to be. You are not who you used to be. And I love you so much. And I am very grateful and I'm very thankful of the journey and the process that we've been through. And I can't wait to see what's coming. Ta-da! Practice it, say it, try it. This was my first time doing it. When I tell you, I didn't write it down. That was completely off the dome. But I feel so good. I could cry right now. I'm not going to cry on this podcast, but I could cry right now because I was able to speak to my future self. I was able to reassure my future self that we are going to get the things that we said we were going to do. And although that we've been through some trials, through some tribulations, we are going to get through it. We got through something. Right? Because I said to my future self, we doing it. And I'm proud of you. Right? So speaking to your future self, just like I've done in previous episodes where I've spoken to my past self, that made me cry. I try not to, but that made me cry. But even to your future self, it's just sometimes good to talk to your future self. Not all the time. We don't want to think about the future all the time. We don't want to be invested in the future that we forget to live in the present. But to speak to your future self and to make sure that you speak an affirmation to your future self. And it doesn't necessarily always, not to say it doesn't have to be positive, because yes, affirmations are supposed to be positive, but it doesn't have to be in the sense of a congratulations. It could be a future self of, hey boo, you made it. We moved on, we got through it, it's okay, I promise you, you know, whatever, right? It could be whatever. I honestly say if you decide to do Dear Aligned Me on paper or even saying it out loud or both, say whatever comes to your mind after you say Dear Aligned Me or Dear Aligned whoever. I feel like Dear Aligned Me feels a little bit natural because it could be for me though, because I don't like when people say my name, so I don't even say my name other than when I say who I am. But try it. I love that. I might keep that one. I ain't gonna lie. I might keep that one, y'all. How y'all feel about that? I like that one. The other one, what was the one that we did the week before? I don't even remember, child. I don't know. Unlearning. What am I unlearning for the week? I don't know. I like that one though. We'll see. We're gonna be testing these things out. Okay, so now for the final segment. One thing that I am practicing this week, so I'm not going to do any homework because we did homework for the last one. I'm going to do one thing that I am practicing this week. One aligned habit that I am choosing, and I've technically been doing it this week, but I'm going to continue to do it for the following week, is to keep pushing past my capacity. I made a video about it. I put a tweet on Twitter. That thing will always be Twitter. I will never call that thing X. I think it's Twitter. I posted a tweet on Twitter and I put that I am pushing past my capacity. And when I say things out loud, when I share it to other people, it's just something about it. I just have to stick to it. I have to do it. I am pushing past my capacity. My capacity normally could be only working 2 days out of the week, having fun 4 days out of the week, feeling tired and going to sleep, wanting to take a nap in the middle of the day. Today, operating off 4 hours, maybe 3 hours of sleep, and choosing to just take a nap because I can. I am pushing past all of that. This week, next week, the following week, the one aligned habit that I am choosing is to push past capacity. And that is because when you sought after a goal, when you have a certain type of life that you are trying to obtain, you have to push past the version of yourself that you are today. You have to push past the limitations that not only you've put on yourself, that other people put on you, and you have to push past them. Now that I've been doing it for like a week or two, it actually irritates me when I see people not pushing past their, oh, I'm tired, oh, I don't feel like it. It irritates my soul, especially when it comes to your own life, when it comes to your own goals. It's just, it strikes a nerve now. But I'll be trying not to be judgmental. I'll be trying not to worry about anybody else's life and what they got going on, and hope and pray that they will get it together, whether it's through the inspiration of seeing me or just figuring it out on their own. I can't put the stress and the worry in my life based upon what other people are doing in theirs. All I can do is focus on mine. So I am pushing past my capacity. And we are getting done. Do you hear me? Okay? That is all that I have for y'all for this podcast. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this episode. I love this episode. And I know I probably say it a lot, but this one of the ones. I got the visuals. I'm gonna make sure some clips go up from this, because I know this was a great conversation. If y'all felt like it was a great conversation, of course y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Make sure you follow the show and leave a rating and review, because without your rating and reviews, more people will not be privy to what's going on in these conversations, and I feel like they need to know. So leave a rating and review, and of course send it to your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin. Send it to whoever you need to send it to that needs to hear this conversation. We are retraining our mind. We are becoming the best version of ourselves. We are healing, we are growing, we are unlearning, and being authentically who we are meant to be. I love y'all to life, and until next time, bye.